Oh boy, welcome into another episode of Outside Shots. On a kind of a surprisingly just kind of a surprising morning. I did not expect this last night when I was about to go to bed. Pretty crazy. Hoodie Johnson is here. I'm Saul Bookman. We appreciate y'all for joining us this early in the morning, and we got a lot of things to say, a lot of things to talk about. EJ, first of all, how was your weekend? How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Play a little golf. I'm on vacation, a little mini vacation.
All right.
Sun's on the East Coast in that cold weather. EJ strategically always sets his schedule
I know
right.
you do. Every single
So
time.
I don't have to deal with that cold weather, even though I got to go out there in a week when they go back out there, but it'll change back to nice when I get out there because EJ's warm. He's warm-hearted. The weather will change.
All right. Man, you know what? You come to this show and you say some of the most random things at the beginning of every show, and it always throws me off. I don't understand where your head goes.
Because
it's like you have things that you just have stored up over the weekend that you don't share with anybody else until you get to this show.
Not really. I am so spontaneous, it's ridiculous, man. Look at me, man. I haven't shaved. I mean, I'm just a straight Rough Rider right now.
All right. Well,
I show up with my baby's hat on. No Jade. Check her out. Spotify. Apple Music. Jade. Contact. Oh yeah, my daughter's the bomb. So I got to sport her hat today. But I'm a little rough riding right now. Just a nice shaving. Just hang out with you. You never shave anyway. So I mean, you're just a rough rider all day long. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for for what people are gonna say. They're gonna rip guys. He should have never been in the lineup, and that's you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are you done now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you done now? First of all, let me tell you something about me, EJ.
We go. I've never. Saul is going to spill his. His resume for you all.
I have never.
Let me take my glasses off so I can look at you.
Thought that Bradley Beal should be coming off the bench. And the news last night, surprising. Obviously something needed to happen after you saw that game against Indiana. Listen, changes need to be made, and I'm all for it. You got to try whatever you can to try and get back on track. You just lost 7 out of your last 8. This game against the Indiana Pacers was just, kind of typical. Like, you show these flashes or you're competitive for, 3/4 of the game, but inevitably there's these stretches that just befuddle you. And that's where we're at right now with this team. There's a lot to say. And I think last Friday when we spoke, it was a little, I don't know why, but like I had a feeling that, maybe I shouldn't go too hard. Maybe it's just like, let's just see how this all unfolds the next couple of games. No, after Saturday, this is the first time I think where reality is set in that I don't think whatsoever that the pieces that we have right now currently in tow are the pieces that are going to get us to a championship or even deep into the playoffs. I just don't. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe Beal going to the bench is going to have an impact in any way, shape, or form. I just don't see how that's going to magically solve things. I don't think if you traded Beal for a Jimmy Butler, that's going to change much either. Like, I just feel like this team is who they are. And it's a team that's kind of mid right now with some high-level superstars that have not been able to build the chemistry enough to make themselves a solidified, untestable championship contender. I think I was in denial for the last 2 years, thinking that we got Kevin Durant. We got, Devin Booker's playing at a high level at the time of the KD trade. Like, Bradley Beal's this scorer. Like, this is all going to end. And I feel like reality is starting to come home. And it freaking sucks. It absolutely sucks. It sucks. This whole thing sucks. It's terrible. It's just terrible because we invest so much time and effort into watching this team and really cheering them on. And at the end of the day, it's like, damn, man, like, where's the heart? Where's the emotion? Where's the effort? Where's the like, it's frustrating, man.
You okay?
No, I'm not okay, EJ. This fucking sucks. The whole thing is terrible. I don't understand what just happened in the last 2.5 years to get us to this point. We were right there on the verge of possibly being a perennial, championship contender. And then we made some moves that we thought were going to shore up things or put us at another level. And then, whether it be injury or a myriad of other things just have gone against us. And then it's also, in our own players' hands. And that's not worked out the same way that we all envisioned. So it's all just, oh man, our pets' heads are falling off. It's just terrible.
Look, 15 and 18, man. Like every fan, everyone involved with the organization, and even fans that aren't fans, but they should be surprised of where the Suns stand right now. Because before the season, you got to be honest here, before the season, some people were picking the Suns to, win the West with the acquisition of Tyus Jones. Some, after seeing our rookies in training camp, like some people were looking at the Suns as being one of the upper echelon teams in the Western Conference, which is the best conference from top to bottom, although the East might be the best at the top, right? So all those things were there. Hopefully the health of our big three, different than last year. It's a lot of hope. So I can understand why you're disappointed, why a lot of people are disappointed. I'm disappointed. But and I'm not saying just because I've been in a situation before and comparing myself to a fan. It's not what I'm doing. It's just that, I feel like I'm the professional here and I gotta, make light of the situation. I gotta be the doctor.
Sure.
I gotta find out how to cure it. I can't talk about the issue. Everybody can sit up here and say, oh, they're not good. They're 15 and 18. They're no good. Bill's not this. Devin's not doing this. KD's not doing this. Everybody can do that.
Sure.
Everybody can make that because they're seeing it. They're seeing what's going on. But I'm the doctor. Call me Dr. Johnson.
But the problem isn't even that, though. The problem is they can't even control the things that they can control.
I know.
Like, that's just effort and want.
I know. Well, that's my point. So I'm just saying the general mindset is that they're struggling. They're 15 and 18. They've lost a number of games to teams that they should beat. It just hasn't looked good on the court. All those things, right? And it looks like they're not repairable, right? Because sometimes some people don't want to look at the effort that could be exerted to make it right. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And so, like, I've been in this situation before. I gave you the story of the Seattle team that I was on, that I got to. They had lost 13 out of the last 15 games. And at the end of the year, we took the best team in the league record-wise that particular year in 1991, I believe, the Portland Trail Blazers, to 5 games, which was like the 7th game because it was only a 5-game series. We took them to the end. Like at halftime, I think that game was tied, and they was almost going to be an upset.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we, no way we thought we would make the playoffs. So that's my point. Like, I've been in situations like this and dire straits. Oh, by the way, last year we were in the same situation. Last year we were hovering around having to be in the play-in or a game or two out of the play-in. We were right there, and we got hot, and we wound up winning 49 games.
You think that's going to happen this year?
No. Well, see, last year people didn't think it would happen. So that's my point.
But last year you had the excuse of like they've only played 20 games or 15 games together, so it needs to take.
But I'm going to tell you, okay, that's right. So, okay, some people can wake up with high blood pressure, and that high blood pressure, once it's get taken care of with medicine, then something else could pop up, right? So how are you going to attack that? So that's what life is all about, right? As we get older, we're going to have to attack certain things, okay? It's not going to stop just because one thing happened. It's going to be a multiple of things as you age and get older.
I'm attacking this acid reflux that the Suns are giving me. I know that.
Yeah, well, same thing with this team. Like, you fix one thing and you go through something, you're going to have to go through something else. Unfortunately, it's only a few teams in the league that can say they haven't had issues, right? 2 teams right now, Oklahoma City and Cleveland. Other than that, every other team right now is going through their issues. Boston is going through its issues. They've fallen 6 games behind Cleveland, right? So a lot of teams are going through their issues in a lot of different ways.
I get that.
Here's where I come in. I'm going to be doctor now. Call me Dr. Johnson.
I let me, real quick, before you get to Dr. Johnson, I would just want to say, yeah, I get that. And everybody else has their issues. But you know what? I've heard the same damn story for the last 3 years, and us comparing ourselves to other teams and saying, okay. Everybody else is doing this too, blah, 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 blah. And then we flame out in the first round or second round.
We're not okay. You and I were talking about that on Friday.
Yeah.
We're not okay. But changing the lineup, putting Beal on the bench, putting Nurkic on the bench, and changing the lineup, that's just like putting makeup on a pig and thinking you're gonna make the pig look good. All right? It's the internal people. What are they gonna do when you change? Like me, I feel like I'm at the top of this situation. I was asked to go to the bench. Really not asked, instructed that I was going to the bench in 1989. No, sorry, 1986. In 1986, 87. I was leading scorer on the team, second leading rebounder, coming off multiple 20-point per game seasons, thought of as one of the up-and-coming small forwards in the NBA, shooting around 50% from the field. Like, my numbers said starter. My numbers said all-star. My numbers said all of that. I'm trying to make a name for myself. And Joe Axelson, who didn't like me in Sacramento for whatever reason, because he didn't like Cotton probably, and Cotton had left him, and I was one of Cotton's guys. But anyway, Phil Johnson was the coach. We were struggling a little bit. Terry Tyler, they had picked up from Detroit. They came to me and they said, EJ, we're going to bring you off the bench. And I was ticked. I was hot. And I'm like, really? I know this is about contract. And it was. Part of it was. But it was nothing that I could do about it. And so I could do one or two things. I could just accept it and prove them wrong, but also understand that I'm still going to get starters minutes. I'm still going to be in there in the fourth quarter. I'm going to be still a go-to guy. Reggie Theus, Otis Thorpe was on that team. And exactly that's what happened because I made it that way. Like, I didn't give in to the negativity of it all. And so that's what I'm saying. They can change the lineup, but Bradley Beal and Jusuf Nurkic has to accept it, and they have to want to make it work. And if they make it work, it will work. I said before the season, people were saying, well, Bradley Beal should come off the bench, and I fought it because I said you can't initially make him come off the bench. You have to have a reason to present to him why he should come off the bench. So now we're 33 games in, and now I think the Suns have a reason to say, hey, Brad, this is why you should come off the bench. But now it's up to Brad to accept it. This could be the turning point, but it's going to be because Brad and Nurkic accepts it. And so change does not work unless the person accepts it, right? And so that's going to be what we need to look at now. So, people, on Twitter, oh, yeah, they should have done that. And no, it doesn't matter. Brad has to accept it. Nurkic has to accept it, and accept it by how they go out and perform every night. Not how just accepting it and they're coming off the bench. It's not robots. A lot of these people, analytical world that we live in, people always think this is robotic type stuff. It's not. It's emotion. This guy's been a starter his whole life. He's been an all-star. He's led the league in scoring. And now he's being asked to do something that he's never thought probably he never had to do from the moment he picked up a basketball. Now he's being told he's going to the bench. Man, if he doesn't accept it, it's issues. And so that's what can help this team start to win is what I'm saying. If he accepts it, now that unleashes Devin to maybe me get more touches early in games. You got more fluidity defensively. Ryan Dunn's in there, whatever, So now you got a combination of guys out there. Maybe it'll force Devin and KD to stay within their job description more than the other job descriptions that they fall into because Brad is out there on the floor. There's just so many things now that can change, but only if they make it change, man, and they all accept it. So that's going to be the challenge now for Mike Budenholzer. You can forget about just making the change. You got to engage Bradley Beal in a way that he's going to get to the point where he accepts it. I finally accepted it, and guess what it did for me? I wound up playing 18 years professionally. I developed a name for myself as a sixth man. I could have played even more when I retired at 40. I had teams that wanted to sign me then because what I accepted allowed teams to know he's cool. He'd be all right with coming off the bench. He's okay with playing a role. He's okay with doing this. And so that's what we have to get to right here, man. And so, it's not going to work if those two guys don't accept it at a high level.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into whether or not you should buy or sell Bradley Beal going to the bench and even Jusuf Nurkic after this break. Something else you should buy or sell is obviously a house, right? If you have a house and you're looking to put it on the market to get rid of it, there's no better place to go than Carol Royce Realty. And the opposite can be true. If you're trying to buy a home right now in this market, then Carol Royce is absolutely the place you want to go to be able to get the very best deal possible for yourself and your family. Carol Royce has been in the Valley doing her thing. Her team is great. She's great. They have done remarkable work in the Valley. They have all the connections. They have all the hookups. They know things that are going to come on the market before they even come on the market. They can put your house in the market in a variety of different ways, marketing-wise, in order to get you the very best deal for your house. If you're a buyer, you can rest easy knowing you're not just making the right choice. You're making a guaranteed one. Love your home, or Carol Royce will buy it back. How about that for a guarantee, okay? Again, their team is just fantastic. If you're selling your home, same thing. You can rest easy knowing that you're going to get true market value for your home immediately. So again, Carol Royce is where it's at. All you have to do is call today or visit Carol online at carolroyceteam.com. That's carolroyceteam.com. Or you can call 480-776-5231. And on top of that, Circle K, obviously we've gone on and on about it. Circle K is the best convenience store out there. Make sure you check out your closest location and hook yourself up with the Inner Circle app by saving 25 cents per gallon in the first 5 fill-ups. How about that as a quick way to hook yourself up? You get 5 free drinks as well, whether you want a Polar Pop, a Froster, whatever, or even a coffee. They'll hook you up. They have great food, snacks, beverages, whatever you want. It's all there. Some of them even have Burrito Express in their locations, which is a new thing that's been added. Again, Circle K is where it's at. They're going to hook you up. So download the Inner Circle app today by going to circlek.com and make sure you check out the show notes for more details. All right. Okay. Let's get back to what you were talking about in terms of Bradley Beal and his mentality going to the bench. I think this is the question that nobody knows in terms of Bradley Beal. Like, how is he going to receive this information? And then on top of that, when you're looking at what Crispy Haynes said in his tweet, he basically said that it was not only a move to try and shore things up or try to, create some type of spark, but also that there's a little drama behind the scenes that exists. And that tweet by itself was
what drama?
Was very layered. I don't know. That's what I don't know, Eddie. That's what they're saying. That's what he said. That's what he said in his report. I don't know what kind of conflict is going on behind the scenes, but clearly I'm sure it's a mixture of, things are not going the way that the Suns want it to go. The team's performance has not been where they expected it to be. But I just keep coming back to this, man. You could sit there and point the finger a million different ways, but at the end of the day, is everybody doing what they're asked to be doing? And I don't think that is the case. We have high level superstars that are getting paid high level money, and I don't think that as a whole that trio of guys that is making $50+ million a year are doing enough to really guide this team to another level, in my opinion, because I haven't seen it. We're not championship contenders right now, but with those salaries, you expect to be a championship contender. With the level of talent that those three have, you expect to be a championship contender. But the problem has been they're not. And they're not for a variety of reasons. Some of them are obviously exclude them in their own individual performance, but I just don't feel like the identity of this team has been figured out. And when you have three superstars that haven't been able to figure themselves out as a unit, that becomes an inherent problem more so than anything else. And that's where I will always go to. So when Bradley Beal goes to the bench, you're now isolating in the public sphere. You're now isolating Bradley Beal away from the situation, because if Bradley Beal comes off the bench and still gives you the same level of production, then people are going to start to look at Devin Booker and Kevin Durant as the leaders of this team to find out why, if we could continue to lose, why we're losing. And then at that point, what do? You're not going to send Devin Booker and KD to the bench. That'll never happen, and nor should you. So where do you go from here? And more importantly, do you think there is a significant improvement from this team with Bradley Beal going to the bench, EJ? Let's just start there.
The improvement is going to come from the guys that's on the floor that replaced him. So if you're going to replace a guy with another guy, then you expect it to get improvement because of putting this guy in there, right? And so that's how I view it. For me in Sacramento, guess what? We started to win. And so Terry Tyler, although, like I said, not statistically, he didn't blow you out of the water, but his mixture within that starting lineup put us on a trail of winning, and we made the playoffs that year after getting off to a slow start. But I was still getting 30-plus minutes a game, 35 minutes a game, but still, that combination worked. So it can work, but it's up to the guys to make it work. And I said this the other day. This is not all on Bradley Beal. This is not all on Jusuf Nurkic, because they having to play a role. Like Bradley Beal, when he was in Washington, he was the first guy to touch the ball. Mm-hmm. Now he's the third guy to touch the ball. He's had to change. Devin hasn't had to change. Devin just changed. But he doesn't have to change, right? KD doesn't have to change.
But go ahead.
But Bradley Beal had to change. So it's always an adjustment when you're used to doing something and you don't have a chance to do it. But what I said Friday the other day, okay, everybody has a skill set that got them to the league. Mm-hmm. Everybody. Okay, so, and I always use myself as an example. My skill set was I could score. That's what kept me in the league. I could score. That was first. I could score. Mm-hmm. When I'd go to an arena, people were worried about me scoring, okay? They didn't pay attention to the other things that I did. It did not matter, okay? We don't want that dude to score, right? Mm-hmm. Or if I'm at home playing, we want him to score. No matter what else I did. I could have got 10 rebounds. I could have got 4 steals. It did not matter. If I was not making jumpers, I was not having a good game. Okay? So we understand that. All right? So we know KD, Devin, Brad supposed to score first. All right? We know that. But what they need to know, it goes past their scoring. All right? It truly does. And that's the part that ticks me off. Like, and it's just guys in the game today, I don't know if they get that stuff. And I'm not saying Devin and KD doesn't get it, but what I'm saying is I want to see it. My point is this. We know you can score, but we also want you to do the other things that don't go into the score sheet. Block out. Okay? Fight for rebounds. Make the right pass. Don't do things that you're not good at doing. Let somebody else that's good at doing it, let them do it. Okay? So it's all those things that come into play. And watching that Indiana game the other day, I saw those things go backwards. And that's the part that they have to understand is put them in this situation. Like, it's the other things that they're not doing. They can score 25 points, they can score 30, and we're losing. Like, KD and Devin had a good scoring game the other night, and we lost. Because everybody's not doing the other things to win. Yeah. That's the difference between Indiana beating them, Memphis beating them shorthanded, because they're doing things that we're not doing. Kuchar for Memphis, 12 damn rebounds. He's averaging 3. Like, it's that type of stuff, man, that we're not doing.
So whose responsibility is that?
Well, I think it's you everybody right now in that organization, the basketball ops, need to look in the mirror. It's everybody. It's coaches to players. Everybody's got to say, you know what? What am I not doing? What am I not saying to the players that can help them? How am I not? I'm not motivating them to do this. We're instructing them to do it, but it's not happening. So maybe it's a different way I need to go about getting it handled. Okay, changing lineup. Maybe that might work. But what if it doesn't work? All right? Like with KD, he's had like a number of games lately with high turnover. What can he do to cut down on the turnovers? We know we know he's going to get 25, 30. Okay, he's one of the best scorers we're going to ever see in the history of this game. Yep. But what about the other stuff that we don't really pay attention to? Everybody has to do a little bit of the dirty work is what I'm saying. It's not pretty. Like, trust me, I didn't like it. I used to have to guard Calvin Nat. Now, if people go back and look at Calvin Nat was 6'5", and he had Shaq strength. Okay? I knew going into that game, I had to block this maniac out, man. And I didn't feel good the night before when I went to sleep. I didn't. But I knew I had to fight this bull. I knew it. I knew when I went against Xavier McDaniel, I'm not a defensive guy. I'm not on the team for my defense. I'm not on the team to go get 10 rebounds. I'm on the team to score. But in order for me to be on the floor to score, I had to do the other stuff to justify the coach to keep me in when things went south. Mm-hmm. And that's what every player on this team needs to look in the mirror and say, I know what I can do, but I got to do the other stuff too. I got to put my body in front of somebody and not let them run down the lane like Pascal Siakam did in between Four Sons players that's watching. Who's going to be the guy to hit him and make him not run in there? Like, it's those things that win games, man. It's not just your stat. It's not what you're doing in your job description. It's things outside of your job description that you're willing to go do to help the team win. And that's every player. And then it's every coach to be able to instruct that player and remind them and show him and tell him and show him video that that's what you're doing wrong, man, and we need that from you. We need that from you. It's opposite for Ryan Dunn. Everybody's looking at Ryan Dunn and they're saying his defense. That's right. That's what he has right now. But you know what else he needs to do? He's got to be a threat offensively. So if he's passing up shots and he's being hesitant, can't keep him on the floor. It goes both ways. So your strength is your strength, but you got to be willing to do the other stuff, man. And it's not pretty. It is not. And every player in the league they go through this every night. They have to deal with a situation that they're not comfortable in doing, and they know they're not great at doing. Like Nurkic having to get out there and have to guard the pick and roll and guard a little guy. That ain't fun, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, so it's everybody, and you look at the teams that's winning. That's what they're doing. Their guys are like doing multiple things to help win, and so that's part of the issue right now. And when you get immersed in a losing streak, it just gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, this team, the Suns, have to come to this real reality that when they go into a game like tonight, Embiid's a problem. Okay, whoever starts, Mason, also, right? Hey, that's a team effort there.
Oh, boy.
You know? That's a team effort. Maxey is a problem. It's not one guy guarding him. Like, everybody's got to be willing. You're going to get out there on him because he's going to target you. He's going to run two-man game, and he's going to target somebody. And if he targets you, you got to be ready to help. Like, okay, rebounding. They got guys out there that like to attack the glass, like the big kid. What's his name? Abasuli, what's his name? That
Sure.
lit us up,
Yeah,
Yabusele.
Yeah, from France.
This dude's a bull. Who gonna block him out? Like, tonight,
Not the four guys that didn't block Siakam.
I know, look, who's gonna try to block this man out? Like, that's what you go into the game thinking. Like, you know, and it's not pretty. It's not glamorous. Like, trust me, teams just try to target me and whatever. That's why I got my ass in the weight room. Like, you ain't pushing me around. And people will tell you, they can talk about the defense and all that. It's guys in the league hated me guarding them because I scratched their ass. I push them. I was borderline dirty because I had to be.
Shocker.
Borderline dirty. I had to be. Like, I had to let them know that it's not going to be an easy night. Yeah. Always fought for rebounds. Like, those are the things, man, that everybody on this team has to do, man. It's past your job description. And even and bypass some things that you're not good at that would hurt the team.
Yeah.
That too. Like, you know, if you know that you're not good in a certain area, then you don't put yourself in that situation to hurt the team and try stuff like that. Throwing cross-court passes. I said the other day, and I want people to, when you watch games, just pay attention to it. Probably 6 out of the 10 cross-court passes in this league gets picked off.
Yeah.
They get picked off. It's only a few players in this league right now that are qualified to throw cross-court passes. Everybody else should never try it. Players are too fast. They're too quick. They're going to pick it off. Like, it's those type of turnovers that we've had. Just stuff like that, man. And so, you know, look, I hold my anger in a little bit because you got to be reserved. But, you know, I hate that we're at this point, man. I do. Because this team is a good team, man. It's a deep team. And we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. And everybody on this team needs to step up. That's it.
It sounds pretty simple. You know what I mean?
It is simple. Basketball is simple, Saul. Basketball's not complicated, man. We make it complicated. Opposition makes it complicated, but it's not complicated.
This is what I'll say to that, right? It's because, like, you see a lot of people out here, and we're going to get to Jimmy Butler in a little bit, but the reason why people are, like, so excited about the possibility of Jimmy Butler coming here isn't because necessarily of just his ability. It's also because of his mentality. And his mentality, from the perspective of everybody else on the outside looking in, is that he's going to hold guys accountable. He's going to be a dog. He's going to, you know, get in guys, you know, faces or whatever. He's going to make guys uncomfortable in a good way. When you have to say that, that means that in your own space, you don't have you are saying that you don't believe that we have that type of person that already exists inside this team. Okay, whether that be a coach or a player, doesn't matter, or even an administratively, you just do not have that internally, which is a problem because now you're saying that you believe that this team from top to bottom is soft because you need somebody like Jimmy Butler to get everybody to step up their level, which is an inherent problem because it shouldn't be that way. Like, again, like, everybody talks about, like, is this Book's team? Is this KD's team? Blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people were like, well, this is Book's team because he was here beforehand. Well, okay, that might be the case, but your identity as a franchise leader, you have to impose your identity on this team. Like, if it's Devin Booker's team, it should be clear and cut and as to this is his team, right? But I don't think it's clear cut like that. I think there's a lot of respect paid to KD, and I think there's a little bit of leeway there in terms of who is really the one that's in charge or who is the one that's really the face of everything. Like, it's just it. And then you bring in Bradley Beal. There's no chemistry from top to bottom. Coach Bud comes in here, and you think, okay, they start off 8-1. Things are rolling. They've lost. They're now 7-17 since that 8-1 start. Like, everything has just been very disorganized, and I don't necessarily feel like it's really anything to do with the organization or the coaching. I think it's all on the players. It's all on the players, and it's all up to those big three. Those big three are always going to carry the brunt of responsibility into turning this thing around. And until those three all get on the same page and play at a high level, because at one point or another, they were considered superstars, like they have to. And that's where I think that's where I'm going to keep coming back to is like, it's on those three. It's just on those three, because with great salary and power come a lot of responsibility. And all those guys have not done what they've needed to do to get this team, not themselves individually, this team up to a level that is satisfactory. And that's a problem.
No, Saul, you're correct. They know this. They know that this team is going to be criticized, and they're going to get the criticism.
But the solution shouldn't be, maybe we need a different player. Like, no.
This team, it has enough talent. Okay, as I said, all these guys need to look in the mirror, and they need to say to themselves, what extra can I do to help? Right? What extra can I do to help? Everybody. And that means help by doing something or help by not doing something that you've been doing that has hurt the team. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it plays out. And until I think we get to that situation where everybody recognizes that and willing to humble themselves, then we'll stay in this abyss. If we do it, then the good things will start to happen. Early in the year, we were winning games, but we were barely winning. But guess what? You had guys feeling good about winning, and we were doing all the right things down the stretch in games to win the game. Now we're not. And so you got to get back to that mentality of like thinking that, okay, what am I going to do to help the team? Now, here's what I will say about the big three. They should take 70% of our shots. They haven't been. Because I think they've been trying to involve guys too much, in my opinion.
Let them adjust to them.
Yeah, they've been trying to involve too much, man. Like, they're assassins, they're scorers. They should be taking, I remember those Laker teams with Kobe. See, a lot of players want to like say they grabbing onto the Mamba mentality, right? Or they want to emulate MJ. Here's where I'll say that they come up short. They never passed the damn ball. Them two dudes were assassins. look back at their box scores. MJ would take 35 damn shots.
Mm-hmm.
They had to beg him to pass the ball to Steve Kerr in the finals, and Steve hit a jumper, right? They had to beg him to pass the ball to John Paxson in the corner against the Lakers
Michael
in
didn't
that
make
final,
pass, but yeah,
right? No, I'm saying, but he didn't believe that they could make it better than him. That was their mentality. Like, he took all the shots, and whatever shots was left, Scottie took. And so Shaq and Kobe took all the shots. Whatever shots was left, okay, Derek Fisher, Fox, you wind up getting 6 shots. But guess what they did? What did Fox do? Great defender.
Mm-hmm.
Did all the dirty work. Protected Kobe. Like, all those other guys did their job, what they are very good at doing. And their mind was off of like, we're not going to get many shots. Because, yeah, you're not a scorer. So those 3 should take a majority of the shots. But when they're not shooting, that's when they got to show the willingness and the propensity to say, okay, I'm going to go rebound. I'm going to get the tough rebound. They target me defensively, I'm a guard. That's how it should be. We're not seeing it no different on Boston. They take a lot of threes, but Tatum and Brown taking the most. Porzingis taking the most. Derek White every now and then to get shots, but he'll go stretches where he doesn't get shots.
Yeah.
Like, so it's that breakdown, man, that we need to improve on our team. And those 3 need to know, no, you come out every night, y'all taking the shots, man. And don't get into this where you want to be creative now, passing and, and go off 2-man games. And that's Tyus's job. That's Monty's job.
Well,
right? That's their job. Let them do their job. That's the issue, right? So everybody needs to know what they're good at, what they're supposed to do, and let the other guys do their thing. Like, that's the way it should go. People get on Nurkic, and I'll finish with this one. People get on Nurkic.
Well, we're gonna get into Nurkic here in a second.
Okay.
Let me pump the brakes on that real quick, because Beal and Nurkic are both going to the bench,
Yes.
and that combo we'll talk about after this break. Speaking of combos, Colt Cannabis and True Leaf, a combo made in heaven for you. Look at this. Colt Cannabis is now in your favorite True Leaf facility. If you don't know about True Leaf, you got to check them out. It's a great facility where you can get just about anything you need it's a great dispensary, and so you can get edibles, you can get your flowers and all that stuff. So check them out. Our friends at Colt Cannabis are now available at your local True Leaf with a huge variety of premium flower and a True Leaf exclusive magic marker. The Valley has been asking for her, and now she's back. Visit TrueLeaf.com to find the local shop near you, or place an order and tell them PHNX sent you. Again, like, if you haven't had Colt Cannabis, you're missing out. Like, you gotta get it on that, because it is really, really good. It is potent, and it is a great flower. So get over to TrueLeaf.com to find your local shop, or place an order and tell them PHNX sent you. And then on top of that, obviously you see this dope ass hat that I'm wearing. It is Branded Bills time here in the Valley. ASU, U of A, Suns, it doesn't matter. They are repped by Branded Bills as well. And so Branded Bills, if you go to brandedbills.com, you can save yourself up to 20% off by using promo code PHNX. And they have a variety of different styles, different apparel. EJ's gotten some of the hats and apparel that we've sent his way. Branded Bills, again, is just fantastic. You can't go wrong. And again, like, if you're an ASU fan, they have different styles of ASU hats. Same thing for U of A. You see the black and white one that I'm wearing right now. And then the Suns as well. Like, again, Branded Bills is just fantastic. If you're a company and you need some merch, Branded Bills will help design and hook you up as well. So reach out to brandedbills.com. Again, use promo code PHNX to save yourself up to 20% off at brandedbills.com today. All right. Nurkic going to the bench as well. We're going to talk about Nurkic, and we're going to talk about Jimmy Butler. Nurkic going to the bench, to me, It is what it is. I know so many people are kind of over Nurkic, which is fine. And Nurkic has not been the greatest. I think he is in the lower third of centers in terms of productivity. His efficiency has always been really a roller coaster, especially at the rim. Again, I think swapping him for Mason Plumlee is, it's just whatever. I don't even know what else to say about that.
You can't speak English.
It's just a move. It's not like Mason Plumlee's going to come in here and light the world on fire either. So that's just.
But he might come in and all of a sudden he's getting 12, 13 rebounds and he's blocking a few shots.
EJ, we're living a lot on hope right now.
Well,
maybe. Hey, if I
will say this. When things aren't going well, right, it falls down. It makes the role players look worse than look better. What makes the role players look good is your best players because they're getting the bulk of the attention. They're doing everything correctly, and they're helping you win. Like when the Suns started winning last year, one stretch, Nurkic was getting 20 rebound games, 16 rebound games. Everything was going good because the other guys were flowing. And that's what Nurkic is. And he's forced into this situation because he doesn't get many touches. Like, people get mad at him because he might miss a layup or whatever, but I will tell you this. As great a shooter as I was, when I played for the Rockets at the end of my career, even when I played for the Pacers, like, the offense all of a sudden wasn't geared toward me, you know? And it makes it look like you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding you. Like, so I went through it, people. You got to understand it. It's almost like if you're not driving your car and you leave it in the garage and you pull it out, you're like, what's that sound? What's going on? Because you don't drive it.
Yeah, but that's not the case with Nurk, though.
Yeah, it is. It is the case. Because here's why it's the case. Because every big man wants a carrot. Like, every big man would like to get, to know he's going to get the ball.
Brother, he has gotten a bushel of carrots. What are you talking about?
No, but you don't understand. Can I explain it to you? He's gotten surprise carrots. But it has he normally he's not the kind of player where they dribble the ball down and say, "Hey, we're just going right to the post on you."
They have before?
No, they've done it sparingly, and rightly so. Saul.
My guy,
Saul,
how many missed layups do you have to see before you stop going to the well at all?
You're not understanding what I'm saying, but that's okay. Oh, that's okay.
Explain to me that. I'm a 3-year-old.
I don't want to explain like you're a 3-year-old, maybe a 2-year-old. So, okay. What I've said to you is he's gotten passes off the two-man game and things like that. But my point is he'll go through stretches where they don't give him the ball. So it's not a consistency. Rightly so. I'm not saying that it should be, but rightly so. But it's not consistent. So, yeah, it's a surprise catch here, surprise catch there, and not ready for it. He's not a very good post-up guy, okay? He's not a great finisher. I think it has a lot to do with him breaking his leg years ago. I think he doesn't have that explosion, okay? And seriously, I don't think he does. And most big guys are like spastic, and I think he's got some and Embiid is a spastic. So it's not like, it's an insult. Like, when you get that big, it's still hard for you to maneuver that body, man. And you can just tell he's not comfortable at times. When he gets 2 feet down and he can go up, he's much better. But when he's on 1 foot, he's not, okay? So I just think with him, you have to live with the negativity of him missing some shots inside because he'll draw some fouls, which helps you get to the bonus. So he might not make the bucket, but he'll get the foul to help you get to the bonus, which is good for now KD and Devin and Brad and everybody else because they're tremendous free throw shooters. So the key is for the big guy to get you to the bonus. So that's what Embiid did for Philly last year. That's what Jokic does is like, it doesn't even matter if they shoot the free throws or they can shoot them well, and both of them can, obviously, but Getting to the bonus. That's why Shaq was so great. Get you to the bonus, right? MJ, get you to the bonus. And now other guys can reap on it just by getting fouled on a non-shooting attempt. So my point is, that's the value of a Nurkic. Now, does he understand that? That could be the issue. Maybe he wants the ball more. That could be the issue. But his struggles, to me, lean more toward inconsistency in touches for him, and he wants the ball more, which I disagree with. Okay, I disagree with it. He's got to get over that, because when he's just rebounding and he's being physical, he's one of the best rebounders in basketball. He gets rebounds in his area, okay? So he's one of the best rebounders. He takes up space in the lane, even though he's not a great defender, but he still takes up space. Like, you still got to drive a cab to get around the dude. He's physical. He'll hit people. So it's a lot of good things with him. And he's got to understand that's his value to the team. And I think sometimes he gets flustered that he doesn't catch the ball. But again, people, you got to understand, when you're judging people that don't get like all the touches, it's easy to judge KD, Devin, and Brad. Why? Because they get offense ran to them, they get their touches, they're able to play the game the way they like to play the game. They go into every game knowing that they can take as many shots as they want. They have a consistency and a rhythm to their job. But other guys don't, and those are the guys that struggle. Those are the guys that struggle, man. And Nurk has struggled big time with that. And hopefully the change helps him. Hopefully the change spurs the dude on, because they're going to need him. If they can't make a deal, and I don't think they can make a deal based on the second apron and all of that, but if they can, great, if it's going to help the team. But, you know, as long as the guy is here, we got to make sure that he gives you what he does well. And he rebounds the ball well. He can pass the ball when he's succinct in passing it, when he's not this one-hand type stuff. But he's a very good passer for his size. And those are the two areas that you would want on this team. Rebounding, keeping more possessions, and not taking 18 less shots than Indiana as they did the other day, but shoot better than them from the field, right? It's those things that he does add. And as long as he's in the Suns uniform, we can't be still negative with him.
No.
We got to hope that those are the things that's going to start to help this team win.
Listen, I want every single person on this team to play at a high level and play well. And not only just for us, but also for themselves. Like, I don't like seeing guys go through it, and clearly the entire team feels like they're going through it. But the problem is, at some point as an individual, you got to realize what your weaknesses are. And are you putting in the work to try to fix those weaknesses? Now, you talked about Nurkic's leg and, from a couple years ago and how that might have a mental impact on, okay, but it's been like 3 years since that, 4 years, I think, since then. Like, I get that still in the back, but you still got to find a way to work around it.
I'm sure.
And you're talking about, and for as much as you're talking about him getting fouled and going to the line, there's also times where he tries to draw contact to get to the line and he doesn't, and by doing so he misses those layups.
He can't jump.
Again, like
that's
listen, Larry Bird couldn't jump and he figured it out.
No,
that's just something. I know that. Listen, Bird. I know he's not Larry Bird. Okay,
Larry Bird.
Again, like we're just. It feels like we're just spinning in circles trying to figure out a way for this team to be at a high level.
I think we're having a good conversation. I think we're trying to reach the crux of how this team can win, instead of like saying this guy should get traded. This guy stinks.
I don't think a trade's going to help.
This guy stinks.
I don't think a trade's going to help, EJ.
They went 8. Look,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about Jimmy Butler real quick. Okay, I don't think like Jimmy Butler could come in here and yes, the mentality might shift and that might help in the short term. Okay, but how long will that last? And can it get you to the point? Like, listen, man, I don't give a shit about getting Jimmy Butler and going from the maybe possible play-in to now I get out in the second round. No, it's about winning a championship. Would that guy give you a championship? I don't think he would. I just don't. Like, if he comes here, great. If they turn it around, fantastic. I'm happy to be wrong on that. But I just don't see how bringing in a 35-year-old vet at his age with that mentality. And listen, the mentality is both good and bad. You got to take that with Jimmy Butler, because everywhere he's gone, he's had good and bad stuff happen with his personality and his approach to stuff. Like, take the risk because you have nothing else, and maybe you can get off of Beal's contract. And for nothing else, if Jimmy Butler opted out after one season and you traded Beal away, at least you save some money. I'm cool with that. But if you think that Jimmy Butler is going to come in here and save the day, I'm telling you that's not happening. I just don't think that that's happening. But I could be wrong. EJ, if Jimmy Butler was on the Suns, do you think that that would be a major difference? We won't even talk about who they would get rid of to get Jimmy Butler. Let's just talk about Jimmy Butler being on the Suns. Would that immediately change things?
It would change things because he's a very good player. Now, if he could stay on the floor, that's always the key with that guy. It's never a question. It's never been a question whether Jimmy Butler can play.
Never.
Okay. And look, Miami was a 7th seed 2 years ago. They went to the finals. This dude had one of the best playoff runs in the history of the game that particular season to get him to the finals. So he can play. Do
you run into the same problem as you do with Beal with the 3 guys trying to get the ball?
No, because Butler doesn't care about scoring. Butler doesn't care about scoring. Think about it. Tyler Hero's averaging 24 points a game in Miami. And Butler doesn't care. He doesn't care about scoring. I've said this about him. He reminds me a lot of a guy that I played with, Derek McKee, who I thought Derek McKee could have been a 25-point per game scorer if he wanted to. But he didn't want to. Because Derek knew that he could stay on the floor even if he didn't score. Those guys are dangerous in a sense because they'll get non-aggressive. But, Jimmy Butler will go a game and, past before these couple of games where they said he was sulking or whatever, but, only he knows this. But, yeah, I've seen him go games and they win, and he has that kind of ego to where he can win a game and not score, right? Who else had that ego? A lot of guys. Jason Kidd had that ego. Steve Nash had that ego, right? Where they can control a game and dominate. Magic Johnson had that ego, where they can control a game and win without having to score all the points.
Yeah.
So that's his mentality. So, yeah, I mean, if he was engaged and he was that, yeah, he would be a fit on anybody's team. I'm not going to take that from him. The key thing is he going to play? The injury situation has been a problem for him over the last number of years. He's only played in 50-plus games over the last 4 or 5 years in Miami. So I don't think he's played over 60 games in the last 6 years. So that's always the issue with him. But from a playing standpoint, no, the guy can play, man. He's one of the toughest players in the league. He does everything. Rebounds, he passes, he scores, he defends. So I'm not going to take anything away from him as a player.
Yeah.
I just think
real quick,
the
for those
consistency has to be better.
For those of you streaming on Roku and all the other streaming services, you can go over to Go PHNX and catch the rest of this. For those of you on YouTube, you're cool. All right, keep going.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's it. So, yeah, I mean, but like I said, I don't try to worry about what some guy can do to help. I just look at all the guys on the team and see what they can do to help because they're in uniform. And we got a game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a game against Charlotte to end this road trip. So for me, before a trade happens, you always have opportunity to prove that you should be there, right? And that's what I always say during the telecast about guys. Like, forget about how the coach has not been playing you. When you get in the game, prove to everybody that's watching why he should be playing you and put pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bobo got in the other night and he hit 2 shots. Okay. Did it lead to more minutes for him? No, it did not. But guess what? It might lead to more now. Like Damian Lee, he hasn't really gotten a chance this year. He's come back from injury. Sooner or later, he's probably going to get that chance. Be ready. What I've told Damian Lee in my conversations with him, hey, be ready. Because when you get that chance, you got to prove, and the coach doesn't mind you proving them wrong, that you can play in this situation. And so that's the way I look at it right now with this team. You know, I'm not going at one specific guy. I'm going at all of them. When you win as a team, organizations win. Not just players, not just coaches, but organizations. When you lose, organizations lose. Everybody should be judged. That's just the way I look at it. Jerry Krause said it years ago. Your favorite, Michael Jordan, fought it. And I still push back on that. I think Michael maybe has changed a little bit in that mentality. The Bulls won titles because their organization was tremendous and the organization won. And that's the way it should be. It should be everybody, not just the big three. It should be everybody. Where's the bodyguards to protect the big three? Like, where are the guys that's going to play physical to make sure that Kevin Durant doesn't get knocked around every game?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy to jump in somebody's face if Kevin Durant gets fouled hard or Devin gets fouled hard? Because we need them, but you know what? You go do your job. Protect them. Like, it's those kind of things, the toughness part, man, that I'm just wanting to see more of. Being mad, being ticked off, man. Like, you know, those types of things. And we have tough guys. Josh Okogie, tough guy. Royce O'Neal, tough guy. Grayson, tough dude. Like, it's not all soft. No, it's not true. But, you know, we need everybody collectively to step up, man, and just say enough's enough.
Yeah.
You know?
No, we do. We do. Hey, listen, I've had enough. Enough's enough for me. Like, I think all of us feel that way. And we all have a variety of different opinions as to what can cure these issues. But at the end of the day, to me, I can deal with the losses if I feel like the effort is there. But the problem is, again, when you see at the end of the game a shot go up by the best player Indiana has in Pascal Siakam, and four dudes, especially Bradley Beal, who was guarding Siakam at that moment, just straight-legged, standing straight up and down, not even the concept of a box out in their heads, and guy gets his own rebound, put back, make. That is just a microcosm of the issues that have been going on during this losing streak.
Right. People saw that, and I saw people commenting on it, right? And it's just funny how people have their different thoughts and opinions on it. And this is what I would say. You're right. It was four guys standing around straight-legged. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm wondering why just one guy didn't try. Forget about all four. Forget about all four.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the reason why everybody froze. Okay? Because all four thought the other guy was going to do it. Great teams, all four go block them out. See?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, great teams, all four go block them out. But those four was thinking the other guy is going to go block them out. You can't win like that. Like, you can't guess like that. Like, you can't. Guy runs down the court on a break and he's open over there and it's not your man that you guard, right? What I'm impressed with, and I'll call it out time and time again during the telecast, we've seen instances where two guys run to that one guy. And people will say, oh, the two guys ran to. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next step is communicate as you're running to them. Okay, you get him.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the other guy.
Yeah.
But the fact that two guys ran told me both guys had the chance to go and both guys went.
Yes, I agree.
So that's the kind of mentality that we don't have right now.
Instead of no guys.
Instead of no guys. Like, you standing there, both freeze. Well, I thought you was going to go.
Yeah.
No, I thought you were going to go. That's the problem. It's a read and react game, and you can't have a conference call in the spur of the moment in the span of a second.
Yeah.
You just got to go. And when you go, then you got to say, okay, oh, he got it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like being in a conference room. Both guys have the same response to a question on the call or in the room, and they talk over each other, and then the other guy say, okay, yeah, you go, you take it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of both guys like, and then somebody that don't know nothing that wants to be creative, he jumps in, and then he starts talking, and the other two guys like, what the hell is he talking about? How often does that happen? So that's what I want to see with this team. Spontaneity.
I think at the end of this, there's two things. One, effort, heart. Show us what you got, please, tonight. Play with some effort. Play with some purpose. Two, Cam Scatterboo isn't saving the Suns, so stop, okay? With this foolishness on this pod. Listen, everybody's all hyped up about Cam Scatterboo, and so they were like, "Oh,
about what?
They need a Cam Scatterboo to come in here and rock some shop kind of thing." You know what I mean? Like, listen, if you wanted to bring Cam Scatterboo come in here and just run somebody over on the court,
hold up. If Scatterboo got on a basketball court, he'd be winded 2 times up the court. Now, I know people don't even get to what I'm saying. Now, Saul knows. EJ loves him some what? Huh?
Some running?
Yeah,
some football players? Yeah, you do.
EJ loves him some Scatterboo now. That's one of my favorite college players, so I'm not ripping on him. Get out of here with these football guys think they can get on the floor. He would be out of wind 2 times up down the court. You know why? It's a different kind of running. He goes back to the huddle and rests 20 seconds after a play. Basketball court, you running nonstop. Man, Scatterboo will be scatterbooed off the court. That's what'll happen. No, stay in your lane. Okay, Scatterboo. Okay, yeah. Scatterboo better keep that little oblong football in his hand.
Okay. All right. Hey, folks, we really do appreciate you all for joining us. This is kind of a vent sesh. I've had my fill of frustration with this team, and I hope they turn it around. I think we all do. Whatever that looks like, whatever unfolds in the next week or 2 or 3, we'll see what happens. And again, like
3 games under 500.
I see a comment saying, it's pathetic. People need to stop blaming KD. Listen. It's not a singular person that's the responsibility of all this. It's a multitude of things. And really, at the end of the day, it's the entire team that's responsible. And I put a lot of that on the big 3 to me, because they are the faces of the franchise. They are the stars on this team, and they get paid money in order to carry the load. And that's what this is all part of, right? So that's where I'm saying it's not just KD. It's not just Book. It's not just Beal. It's not just Nurk. It's not just Coach Bud. It's not just the front office. It's everybody. This is a collaborative issue. Job. So until they all get on the same page, the morale will continue to. Yeah. All right, what is the quote? The morale will continue to implode. I don't know. I forgot what it is.
Yeah, but the Bill hate is just so crazy, people. It is crazy. I'm just telling you all, the man has had to make the biggest adjustment of any star. This guy was a star in DC. He was making all-star teams. He was leading the league in scoring there. They weren't winning, and that's why he wanted to come to Phoenix. That's why he was willing to be the third person. You got to look past all of that. Like, he was willing to do all of that. He didn't come here and say, oh, I wanted to be second to KD. Oh, I wanted to be the guy to take the shots. This guy hasn't really shot the ball, a lot since he's been here, but yet he's averaging 18 points a game. He's shooting 49% from the field. He's shooting 39% from 3. So you people want to be getting on him? Calm down. That's ridiculous. Because if I gave you a blind comparison, as I did Saul the other day, and ran off those numbers, and you didn't know who he was, you said you'd want that guy. So calm down with that. The guy can play. It's just hard to play, man, when you become the third wheel after being the number 1 wheel. But he's going to have to learn to do that. And if he can do that and be okay with it, then it can help our team a lot. And that's just the way I look at it.
That is outside shots for this week. The beatings will continue until morale improves. That's what I was trying to say earlier. So hopefully morale improves soon, because we can't take these beatings anymore. Follow him at JumpShot8 on Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow me at Saul_Bookman. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. And make sure you tune in tonight for the pregame and postgame show as the Suns take on the Philadelphia 76ers
but also
in Philadelphia. And also listen to Sirius Satellite
leading
XM,
up to the game.
NBA Radio from 2 to 5 o'clock this afternoon.
Lead you up
with
to the
EJ
game.
and Justin Termini. I got it right. Until next time, folks, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Peace.
like the mayor.